What's going on, and welcome to the video. In this video, we're gonna talk about the top 10 tips if you are a new real estate agent, okay? These are the 10 things that if I were to go back and do it all over again, that I would do to build my business as a real estate agent going into 2020. Now, just to give you a quick little backstory, I've been a real estate agent since 2015, which is about 5 years. I actually got into the investment world of real estate in end of 2013, beginning of 2014, and I did a lot of transactions. And then I actually decided to get my real estate license and take all out massive action. In the last 5 years, I've probably closed somewhere between $75 and $100 million in production, which isn't some crazy, like off the charts number, okay? What it is it is a very realistic, attainable goal, really for anybody watching, okay? For you watching right now, these are numbers that, again, in my opinion, are 100% attainable and 100% achievable. The reason that it isn't more is because I've actually been running multiple other companies on the side, and so I haven't given 100% of my time and energy to being a real estate agent, as I've still been dabbling in investment real estate and other different various types of industries. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. And in this video, we're gonna work our way backwards. So we're gonna start with number 10 on the top 10 things that I would do if I was getting my license all over again and having to do it in 2020. Number 10 is to schedule your social media posts, okay? Now, what I mean by that is to sit down every single week and actually map out your different social media posts. I know that there's a lot of social media platforms out there, and at the end of the day, you should be using quite a few of them, but the reality of it is, you get busy, right? You wake up and, you kind of think you have a plan for the day, and ultimately the day has a plan for you, okay? I know you felt this way before because I've felt this way numerous times as being, since I've been a real estate agent, okay? Where, at the end of the day, a client calls me, a buyer calls me, a seller calls me, an inspector calls me, an appraiser calls me, and all of a sudden, my day kind of just goes to crap, right? I don't really have control over my day anymore. Ultimately, my day has control over me. But social media is extremely important, and so you should schedule everything in advance. You should create your content in advance and actually schedule it out in advance so you can actually reach your target audience without having to put a bunch of energy into it every single day, right? This is something I typically do on the weekend, maybe like a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday evening, where I'll actually literally sit down and I'll create my content for the week, right? I'll create different Facebook posts, I'll create Instagram posts, I'll create tweets if I'm gonna be tweeting on Twitter. I will create, whatever it is that I need, right? If you're on YouTube, then you could, go ahead and script out some different YouTube videos, whatever it is that is related to content and related to you being a real estate agent. This is something that, again, I would do in one time block, right? I wouldn't try to wing it every single day and to just do it at random. I would do it all at one time so that you can go about your week without having to worry about getting content out there for, past clients, and things of that nature. Number 9 is to network with other real estate agents. Most people, they don't want to interact with their competition, right? They're like, I don't want to talk to my competition, or I don't want to, be friends with my competition, or I don't want my competition to know what it is that I'm doing. But the reality of it is, your competition can be very helpful and very useful, if you're a real estate agent, right? And the reality of it is, you can talk to them about all sorts of different things. You can talk to them about tips, tricks, and strategies. You can talk to them about things like how to hold an open house successfully. What are they doing in the market that is working, right? There's so many different things that, communicating and actually networking with other real estate agents can actually benefit you, right? You can go to classes, you can take courses, you can go to your local RIA meeting. There's all these different things where, you'll actually be able to literally network with other real estate agents, and, that'll be able to help you and propel you to being a more successful real estate agent. Number 8 is to brand yourself. You've probably all seen these big, massive real estate agents, right? You've seen Ryan Serhant, you've seen Josh Altman, you've seen Joshua Flagg, right? You've seen Chad Carroll, okay? You've seen these big, massive real estate agents, and a lot of them, they now have TV shows made after them, right? They're on $1 Million Listing, on Bravo, or, whatever the case is. But the reality of it is, just by saying their names right now tells me one thing. What it tells me is that they all have massive, massive, massive personal brands. And so the reality of it is, in their niche, right, in their industry, in their market, okay, people think of them when they think of real estate. When you're in New York City, you think of Ryan Serhant, right? That is the guy that you think of. He's massive on $1 Million Listing. He's massive on YouTube. He's massive on Instagram, and he's everywhere, right? He's selling all kinds of real estate all day long. He's selling the most beautiful apartment complexes in all of New York City, okay? And ultimately, he gets business from that, right? There's a ton of business that comes from having a massive personal brand. So look, this kind of ties in with you scheduling the social media posts, but essentially your goal from day one as a real estate agent should be to have a personal brand. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to go try out for $1 Million Listing, okay? This doesn't mean that you need a YouTube channel tomorrow that has 100,000 subscribers or an Instagram with 1 million followers. That is not what I'm talking about, okay? What I am talking about is that you need to start with where you are, with what you have, and you need to make progress towards having a large personal brand. You've probably heard it just like I have, but you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Okay, so just remember that by not taking action, you're essentially just letting your competition get bigger and faster and ultimately become better than you, right? Because they're getting more known, they have more exposure, they're talking to more people, they're connecting with more people, they're making more content, right? And ultimately, going into 2020 and beyond, content is what will separate you from everybody else. I know there's a lot of changes as it comes to being a real estate agent, okay? But having a personal brand will ultimately separate you from all of those other people, right? I mean, at the end of the day, that is essentially the way that people do marketing nowadays. People aren't doing as much traditional marketing anymore. You've probably seen it just like me, but most people aren't doing radio ads. They're not doing TV commercials, right? They're not doing billboards. They're not doing as much of that because of why? Because everybody that you and I know, where are all of their energy being spent? Their energy is being spent on social media, right? Their energy is on these different social media platforms, which is where you need to be if you want to get their business. Okay, moving along to tip number 7, and that is to not work from home. Now, you're probably watching this like, Austin, the entire reason that I got my real estate license was to be able to work from home, right? I read the 4-Hour Work Week, and I just want to work for 4 hours a week. I want to sit at home, or I want to sit on a beach somewhere in Cabo, and I want to be able to work a very minimal amount of time, and I want to be able to do it remotely. I don't want to have to go into an office or have to wear a suit or a tie, and I certainly don't want to have to wear a dress or anything like that. I just want to be able to wear pajamas and sell real estate on my own time. Look, one of the best things about being your own boss is that you get to do whatever you want. One of the worst things about being your boss is that you get to do whatever you want. Okay, go back and watch that again. One of the best things is to be able to be your own boss, right? To wake up and to be able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, with whoever you want to do it with. But the reality of it is that the same thing that is the best thing is also the worst thing. It in itself is a paradox. So what I encourage you to do is to get a routine, to find what works for you, but ultimately to have somewhere to show up every day, right? To wake up and to go to the gym, take a shower, have your morning ritual, your morning routine, but then ultimately to get in your car and drive somewhere where you have to show up. And maybe in the beginning this is just like a Starbucks or it's a coffee shop or whatever it is, but ultimately you want to be able to actually have somewhere to go and have a little bit of accountability rather than not having any accountability and ultimately slacking off. Another reason why you want to go out and about and ultimately work somewhere in public is because you're going to be networking. And what being a real estate agent actually comes down to, it is 100% a networking business, right? It's a business where the more people that you know and the more people that you talk to, the more business or the more homes that you're going to be able to sell. If you're not out talking to new people and you're not out ever meeting new people or shaking hands or giving out your business card or whatever it is, then how can you expect to go out and sell a bunch of real estate? Ultimately, it is a very unrealistic expectation to think you're going to be able to do that just sitting at home, right? And not doing anything, okay? And not taking a massive amount of action, right? Even just something as simple as sitting at a coffee shop and having a phone conversation with one of your clients or a potential client could spark somebody's interest in the vicinity where they actually come up and talk to you, and they maybe have a question about real estate or something of the sort, and it was all because you were having a conversation in a public place, somebody else eavesdropped your conversation, and now you have a new potential client just as a result of literally working in public. Moving on to number 6, and that is to create partnerships. Now, what I mean by this is to go out there and to make relationships or to make partnerships with people that come in contact with people that are looking to buy or sell. Now, there's a bunch of different partnerships that I would recommend that you create, but ultimately, you're looking for people that are like lawyers, like attorneys, right? People that actually come in contact with people every day, that they're very aware that that client or that consumer is going to need to buy or sell their real estate within 90 days, within 180 days, maybe within a year, whatever the case is, right? And there's all sorts of different people out there that would have that information, right? They would know that their client, the person that they're working with, is going to need to sell or buy a home in a certain duration of time. Look, you can get creative here, right? There's no particular partnership or no particular industry that I would recommend that you go out and formulate a relationship with. I mean, obviously, the main ones are divorce attorneys, right? People talk about it all the time. They're like, if you can partner up with a good divorce attorney, you'll sell 2 pieces of real estate every time you get a referral because you've got a husband and you've got a wife, and they both need to buy and they need to sell, okay? And that's just kind of one of those old sayings that people have been saying forever. But the reality of it is, there's a million different people, right? You can create partnerships with the termite guy, with the pool guy, with anybody and everybody that is interacting with human beings on a daily basis that would recommend you as a real estate agent, okay, moving forward. And ultimately, it is a win-win for everybody. Number 5 is to choose 1 or 2 forms of marketing at the very most as a new real estate agent. Look, the reality of it is, if you're watching this video, and if you're still watching this video, well, first of all, I would definitely click the thumbs up button, okay, because it'll help put this YouTube video in front of a bunch of more agents that need to see it just like you. But secondly to that is that you probably don't have some massive marketing budget, right? You probably don't have all this money just blow on marketing, right? And just drive down the freeway and literally just blow money, okay? That most likely is not the reality if you're watching this video right now. And the last thing that I want you to do is spread yourself too thin across too many different platforms and too many different good ideas to the point where you're actually not monetizing on anything at all, right? You're ultimately setting yourself up for failure, and ultimately you're actually digging a hole for yourself by overspending, right? You're actually spending too much money on too many different things, and as a result of that, you're not making anything in return, right? There's no actual tangible ROI. You're just out there kind of winging it on every level, right? You're just dabbling in multiple different things, and that is the last thing that I want for you if you're watching this video. Look, there's a million different types of marketing things that you can do, right? You can run Facebook ads, you can run Instagram ads, you can send direct mail, you can go out and you can do open houses. There's all these different things that you can do. But what I would do if I were you is focus on literally 2 things, okay? So just pick. Like, you can literally go on Google, you can call your broker, you can call another real estate agent, you can go on Facebook, and you can go through all the different Facebook groups where people are talking about different things that you can do. You can watch other videos on YouTube. There's a million different ways that you can find, a lot of different methods to actually market yourself, okay? But ultimately, I would pick just a couple, right? Just a few of those to be able to actually hone in on that and start and leverage those couple things moving on as a new real estate agent, right, in 2020 and beyond. Number 4 is to do your research. Now, this one's kind of broad because, as a professional, you should always understand the market, right? You should always understand what it is that you're doing, especially in real estate, because you're going to be helping people buy or sell potentially one of their biggest assets, okay, in their lifetime. So ultimately, the last thing that you want to do is be that guy or that girl that doesn't have enough market knowledge, enough industry knowledge to be able to actually explain things to your client. You want to know things like the neighborhood, right? And different trends, right? Or maybe multiple neighborhoods, or maybe even an entire city or an entire county, wherever it is that you specialize in, right? What is the average sale of a home, the average price of a home? How long does the average home sit on the market, right? What are the different variables that go into the different things that you're actually honing in on? You want to know things like the new technology that is available, right? All of these different things you want to be very well versed in. The last thing that you want to do is, to be able to literally be sitting at a table, at a dinner table with somebody, and they have a question for you that you can't answer that is a very simple question. It's a question like you could have just gone out and done a little bit of homework and actually had answers to their very simple question. Number 3 is to get professional photos of your listings. I know it can kind of be a pain in the butt sometimes, and I know it can be a total hassle, and it can even be a bit expensive, but the reality of it is that good photos sell a home, okay? Especially in 2020, right? I know that we've all seen where you go on Zillow or Trulia or Homes.com or Realtor.com or Redfin or the MLS, and you look at photos literally taken on an iPhone, which I know these days iPhones take pretty good pictures, but again, it is nothing like an actual camera. It is nothing like actually a real photographer going in and taking very good photos of a property. Again, people like 99% of the time are searching for their home on the internet before they actually go view it. So if you're not portraying that home in a good manner, then the reality of it is that those same people are most likely not ever going to want to see the home to begin with. Even if the home is a beautiful home, if you're not portraying it accurately, 9 times out of 10, these people are never actually going to go see the home. Number 2 is to hold open houses. Now, I saved this one for almost the very last because it is a phenomenal way to get clients, okay? I literally have sold millions and millions and millions, like tens of millions of dollars worth of real estate by literally just sitting open houses. And I know it is super old school and you're like, Austin, that is the last thing I want to do. I've got to go and I've got to put up all these open house signs and I've got to knock on the doors of the neighbors and I've got to interact with people belly to belly, and there's all these different things that go into an open house, and I've got to sit there for like 5 hours and do nothing with my life. And I'm telling you that some of my best business has come from open houses, okay? It is like without a shadow of a doubt, hands down, one of the best marketing strategies. And if you haven't already, okay, from the previous point, figured out what marketing strategy you're gonna do, then I would definitely make open houses one of those marketing strategies. It is not uncommon for somebody to walk into an open house, okay, and decide that they like you as a person or as a real estate agent and ultimately decide to do business with you simply because they like you. Remember that when people buy and sell real estate, it is typically an emotional thing for them, right? Unless you're working with investors, 9 times out of 10, it is an emotional experience, right? There's emotions attached to it. And if they don't like the person that they're doing business with, then ultimately they're not going to be doing business at all. I've literally seen where people had a real estate agent, they walked into an open house of mine, and they decided to work with me over the real estate agent they had been working with simply because they liked me more. Okay, the final thing, right? The number one thing that I would do as a real estate agent in 2020 is to have a good CRM. Now, really quick, if you don't already know what a CRM is, a CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, okay? It is a central thing, essentially piece of technology 9 times out of 10 that actually manages all of your customers or all of your potential customers, okay? And I know that you're probably used to, just like me, pulling out your phone and using your notes section or having a legal pad that you write everything down on, and the reality of it is that is not going to work long term, right? Because long term, you're going to forget, you're going to lose the notepad, you're going to lose the journal or the notebook, and ultimately, you're going to let things fall through the cracks. And I get it. Right now, you have like 15 leads in total, 15 people that you have in your entire freaking database, and you're like, Austin, the last thing I need is a CRM to write down 15 names and numbers, okay? But the reality of it is, you're gonna go from 15 to 150 to 1,500 very quickly if you're actually committed to being a real estate agent. And managing 1,500 people is a heck of a lot different than managing 15 people. Look, at the end of the day, a good CRM should actually tell you what to do every day, right? A lot of people, they're like, I'm gonna make up my own calendar, and I'm gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna make calls when I wanna make calls, and I'm gonna send emails when I wanna send emails, and I'm gonna send text messages when I wanna send text messages. And the reality of it is, a good CRM, okay? A good CRM should actually tell you what to do every day. Now, what I mean by that is you should be able to log into your CRM, and your CRM should say, hey, follow up with Mary, right? Follow up with John. Make sure to send John a phone call or send Mary a text message. Or maybe a good enough CRM actually will do a lot of that on your actual behalf, which would lead me to like actually leveraging your CRM to use things like drip campaigns, which is essentially where your CRM, leveraging technology, okay, leveraging email, text message, ringless voicemail drops, and all these different new advancements in technology, a good CRM will actually do a lot of this for you, okay? So you won't even have to do it, right? It takes the guesswork out of it for you, in terms of forgetting or having to put everything, your Alexa, or having your Alexa remind you, or just like having all these different sticky notes all over your desk, okay? The reality of it is you gotta have a good CRM. That's pretty much all I have for you. I know that I would have been a successful real estate agent a lot faster had I done a couple of these things, okay? So if you've watched this video in full, then I applaud you for watching the video in full, because that means you're a real estate agent that wants to go out there and take all out massive action, right? You want more business. You want to make more money. You want to help more people, right? And if that is you, okay, if that's you, then I applaud you for watching this video in full. It would have helped me a ton had I had a ton of YouTube videos and Instagram and all these different things to watch when I got started in real estate. So I appreciate you watching this video. If you haven't already, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.